Welcome to the Deep Dive. We're here to explore fascinating sources and pull out insights that matter for you today.
Glad to be here.
Today, we're taking a journey, actually, way back
Mm.
into an ancient text.
A song, really?
Yeah,
Filled with praise, power, and some, well, surprisingly relevant wisdom.
exactly. It's all about God's greatness, this holy city, his faithfulness, stuff that feels ancient.
But the core messages, they still hit home, definitely.
Right. So that's our mission today, isn't it? To unpack this beautiful song.
And see how it resonates, how it can maybe help strengthen your own trust, your relationship with God, day to day.
Let's do it. So, okay, let's unpack this ancient song, often called the beauty and glory of Zion. What's really at its heart?
Well, at its core is just this vibrant song of praise, celebrating God, yes, but also Jerusalem, Zion as his special city.
Okay.
But what's really interesting is how it talks about the city's real strength.
Not just walls and soldiers.
No, exactly. It wasn't just the physical defenses. The song emphasizes God's presence within the walls. That was the ultimate protection.
God's presence as the shield.
Precisely. It made the city a symbol of divine safety, a refuge. You hear it right at the start. Great is the Lord, and greatly to be praised in the city of our God, in the mountain of his holiness.
That's powerful, especially when we tend to focus so much on, physical security today.
Right. And it gets even more vivid. It describes these enemy kings. They gather their armies ready to attack Zion.
Okay, sounds like a showdown.
But then nothing. They just see the city, and apparently they're struck with terror. They just turn around and flee rapidly.
Without a fight.
Without a fight. And the song pins it directly on God being known in her palaces for a refuge. It wasn't the army that scared them off.
Wow. So it's clearly about more than just physical safety then. There's a deeper kind of security being described here.
Absolutely. It goes much deeper. The song also shows that worship, it isn't just going through the motions, rituals. It flows directly from remembering God's past actions, his deliverance, his victories.
So looking back fuels the worship.
Exactly. Reflecting on those things naturally leads to gratitude, and that gratitude builds trust. It's a cycle. Remember, be thankful. Trust more deeply.
I like that. It connects history to present faith.
And there's another key piece. Testimony. Passing it on.
How does that work in the song?
Well, the people are told, quite literally, to walk about Zion, tell the towers, mark ye well her bulwarks, consider her palaces.
Like taking a door.
Sort of, but with a purpose, that ye may tell it to the generation following. It wasn't just history class. It was about embedding these stories of God's faithfulness into their identity generation after generation.
Keeping the memory alive and active, not just written down somewhere.
Precisely, making it a living heritage. And finally, there's this eternal view.
Eternal. How so?
The song ends with this powerful declaration, "For this God is our God forever and ever. He will be our guide even unto death."
Wow. That goes beyond just this life.
It speaks to a relationship that isn't just temporary, not tied to specific circumstances. It's a lifelong, even beyond life, guidance, an everlasting connection.
Okay, that sets a really profound foundation. Security and presence, worship from remembrance, testimony across generations, and this eternal perspective.
Right.
So, here's the big question. How does all this ancient stuff actually speak to us now, to you, living today?
Right. That's the crucial bridge we need to build. How do these timeless truths apply practically? How can they genuinely strengthen your trust, your relationship with God right now? Because I think they're incredibly relevant.
Okay, let's dive into that. Where do we start?
Let's start with application 1. Finding security in God's presence. Remember how Zion's strength wasn't just its walls, but God's presence?
Mm-hmm.
Well, we're invited to find our ultimate security in God, too. Not just in, our modern walls.
What are those modern walls, do you think?
Could be anything, really. Financial stability, job security, social status, maybe even, sophisticated home security systems. These things aren't bad in themselves.
Right, they have their place.
They do. But this ancient wisdom reminds us they can fail. Markets crash, jobs disappear, status changes. True, deep peace comes from knowing God is your ultimate refuge. Like Psalm 46 says, God is our refuge and strength, a very present help in trouble.
So knowing that deep down that God's the real foundation, that changes things.
It absolutely changes how you face uncertainty. It grounds your trust in something unshakable no matter what's happening externally. It builds resilience.
Okay, that makes sense. Shifting reliance. What's next?
Application 2. Making worship a habit of reflection. Remember how the psalm linked worship to remembering God's works?
Yeah, the cycle you mentioned.
You can actively cultivate that. Keep a record. Maybe it's a journal, physical or digital,
Mm.
or a photo album, even just voice notes on your phone.
A record of
Wow.
what specifically?
Answered prayers, moments where you clearly saw God's help, turning points, times of unexpected provision or guidance. Create your own history of his faithfulness.
And the point is to look back at it.
Exactly, especially when things get tough. Revisiting those moments, seeing that evidence of God's past action in your life, it can powerfully boost your faith and gratitude right when you need it. It makes your relationship feel more tangible, more real.
That's very practical, turning abstract belief into concrete memories. I like that. And that leads into the next point.
It does. Application 3, becoming a storyteller of faith. Just like the Israelites walked around Zion to remember and retell.
We tell our own stories.
Yes. Share your experiences, not necessarily preaching, but just naturally talking about how God has shown up in your life, with family, friends, maybe in a small group.
Like, let me tell you what happened the other day.
Exactly like that. By walking through your own history and pointing out God's work, you reinforce your own faith, sure. But you also invite others to see his faithfulness too. It builds connection, shared understanding. It makes faith communal and alive.
Sharing the evidence, basically, making it real for others, too.
Mm.
Okay, and the last one.
The last one is about living with an eternal perspective. That final verse, our God forever and ever, our guide even unto death.
Right, the really long view.
In a world that's often so focused on the now, the temporary, the next shiny thing, this is a powerful counter message.
How does it help practically, though, living with that perspective?
Well, it changes how you view everything. Loss, uncertainty, challenges, even just getting older. If you know that God's care doesn't just stop, that this relationship is eternal, it fosters a much deeper, more resilient trust.
It puts temporary problems in a bigger context.
Precisely. It helps you hold on to hope. It encourages a more intimate, less frantic relationship with God because you know it's not just for the short life. There's an eternal horizon.
Okay. Security in his presence, reflective worship, sharing our stories, and this eternal view. That's a lot to take in from one ancient song. So let's bring it home. What does this all mean for you listening right now?
Well, I think what we've explored today really underlines that true security, meaningful worship, powerful testimony, and that lasting perspective. They all grow from acknowledging God's presence and faithfulness. Right here, right now.
It's not just ancient history.
Not at all. It's about intentionally weaving these principles into your life.
Yeah.
Moving from just knowing about God to actually experiencing his presence, leaning on him as your guide.
Letting these old truths really shape your modern life.
Exactly. Transforming how you trust, how you relate to the divine.
So as you go about your week, here's something to think about. How will you personally apply this information in your life? How might it deepen your trust and strengthen your relationship with God?